Hello everyone and welcome to The Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here today because look, we're about to unlock something massive. Whether you're an IELTS candidate staring down General Training Writing Task 1 or a professional who just wants to stop second-guessing every single email you send to your boss, this tactical session is built entirely for you. Today, we're mastering the absolute core of written communication. By the time we wrap up, you won't just be ready to crush your exam, you're going to command a totally different level of everyday professional presence. Let's get to work.
Okay, let's dive into this roadmap for today. We're keeping this highly actionable. Number 1, the golden rule of tone. 2, the 3-letter styles. 3, generating ideas under pressure. 4, upgrading your professional vocabulary. And finally, number 5, the perfect letter formula. This is where test prep meets your daily professional life.
You know, if you only take one single thing away from today, it absolutely has to be this. The reader determines the style. Seriously, this is the ultimate master key to all written communication. Before your fingers even touch the keyboard, you have to ask yourself, who am I writing to? If you nail the answer to that one question, the hardest part of writing is literally solved before you start. It dictates absolutely everything that follows.
That brings us right into section 1, the 3-letter styles. We're going to use that master key of tone to unlock the specific styles you're actually going to encounter. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how tone shifts in the real world. Think of it like a formality ladder. The underlying request is exactly the same, but watch how the delivery scales up. At the bottom, level 1, it's informal, just a casual, hey, can you, to a close buddy. Step up a rung to level 2, semi-formal, for someone you know professionally, maybe a landlord. So, dear Mr. Patel, could you please? And then right at the top, level 3, formal. This is for an unknown manager or a strict authority figure. Dear sir or madam, I would be grateful if. See? The relationship dictates the exact rung of the ladder you stand on.
Now here's where a lot of people trip up, the sign-off on a formal letter. But here is your bulletproof memory trick so you never close a letter awkwardly again. If you know their name, like Dear Mr. Smith, you always sign off yours sincerely. Name means sincerely. On the flip side, if you don't know their name and you started with Dear Sir or Madam, you sign off yours faithfully. No name means faithfully. Lock that rule in your brain and you're golden.
And listen, I need to reassure you right now, you do not need to memorize entire letters. Honestly, that's a total waste of brain power. What you actually need is a flexible, tactical framework, just like a universal fill-in-the-blank template. You clearly state your purpose right out of the gate, you tackle your first point with some supporting detail, you move smoothly to your second point, and you close by stating the exact specific action you want the reader to take. It's just a skeleton, guys. You just provide the meat.
Moving into section 2, generating ideas under pressure. Because let's face it, staring at a blank page is where the real panic sets in. Right, it's the most common freak-out moment. What if I just don't know what to write? First things first, take a breath. Let's de-escalate that panic. Whether you're sitting in an IELTS testing center or drafting a high-stakes corporate email, remember that you are being evaluated on your English communication skills. Not your imagination, and definitely not your specialist knowledge. You don't have to invent a masterpiece here. You just need a practical method.
Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is how fast you can unpack a blank page just by answering 5 simple questions. We call it the 5-question idea generator. Ask yourself, what happened? Why did it happen? When did it happen? What needs to happen next? And how can it be solved? For example, if your prompt is about a dirty hotel room, boom, what? The room was dirty. Why? It wasn't cleaned properly. What next? I want a partial refund. Answering those basic questions instantly transforms a blank screen into a fully fleshed out letter. But we have to talk about the unbreakable rule, especially for those of you taking exams. Your prompt is usually going to give you a checklist of bullet points. Listen to me carefully. You must cover every single bullet point, giving each one its own clear section and its own supporting detail before you even think about decorating your language. You can have the most beautiful vocabulary in the world, but it will not save a letter that failed to answer the actual question. Cover the task first, always.
All right, section 3, upgrading your professional vocabulary. This is all about how to sound authoritative and professional without needing to swallow a dictionary.
Check out this transformation, the classic before and after. On one side, we have basic, casual English. I want you to fix this problem immediately. It's aggressive, it's informal, it feels strained. On the other side is the professional upgrade. I would appreciate it if this matter could be resolved at the earliest opportunity.
See the difference? It's objective, it's respectful, and it is highly professional. That is exactly the tone that impresses examiners and corporate bosses.
Let's look at another one. The computer is not working. Please fix it. Versus, I would appreciate it if the technical issue could be addressed at the earliest opportunity. Whether you're writing to an IELTS examiner to secure your target band score or writing to the IT department at your actual job, this tone upgrade is absolutely essential. It communicates pure competence and professionalism.
So the crucial point is how you actually learn this vocabulary. Please don't memorize isolated words. That just leads to clunky, unnatural sentences. Instead, learn collocations. These are words that naturally group together. Instead of just memorizing the word problem, learn phrases like serious problem, technical problem, unexpected problem, or address a problem. Doing this immediately makes your English sound fluent and totally natural, rather than something you translated word for word in your head.
A massive pro tip here is to build your own tactical vocabulary banks based on real-world topics. Group your words under categories like accommodation, work, or travel. If you know you're writing an email about work, you instantly have words like colleague, supervisor, promotion, and flexible schedule ready to deploy. Categorizing your vocab makes pulling the exact right word under pressure totally effortless. Now, here is a massive trap you have to avoid: copying the prompt word for word. If an exam prompt says, you recently bought a computer from a local shop, do not just write that back to them. You have to paraphrase. Change it to something like, I am writing to complain about a computer I purchased from your store recently. It means the exact same thing, but it proves you actually command the language rather than just blindly echoing it back. Let's move on and see how this builds directly into your opening lines. These purpose-based openings are the absolute ultimate starting blocks for any scenario. Are you complaining? I am writing to express my dissatisfaction with. Asking a question? I am writing to inquire about. Saying thanks? I am writing to express my appreciation for. Memorize these specific phrases, and I promise you, you will never stare at a blank opening line ever again.
And that brings us to Section 4, the perfect letter formula. This is the ultimate blueprint to tie everything we've talked about together seamlessly.
The magic number here is 5. 5 minutes. That is exactly the amount of time you should be spending planning your letter before you write a single word. Seriously, do not just start typing. Plan first.
Let me show you how to execute those 5 minutes like a pro. Minute 1, identify the reader. Minute 2, lock in the purpose of the letter. Minute 3, establish the tone. Minute 4, plan out your bullet points. And Minute 5, select your high-level vocabulary and collocations. If you follow this structured prep phase, writer's block is completely eliminated. Writing the actual letter just becomes a simple exercise of connecting the dots.
I want you to think of this sequence as your new automatic habit. Reader, purpose, tone, bullet points, ideas, check. Burn that into your brain. If you follow this exact flow every single time you sit down to write, you will never panic at an exam prompt or a blank email screen again. It systematically guarantees you hit every single requirement. And finally, once you're done writing, you run it through this rapid-fire checklist. It's your final safety net before hitting send or turning in your paper. Task achievement. Did you actually answer all the bullets? Organization. Are the paragraphs clear? Vocabulary. Did you use those collocations we talked about? Grammar. Are the tenses right? Tone. Does it fit the reader? And accuracy. Do a quick spelling and punctuation check. Guys, this checklist is literally the difference between a good score and a great one.
Before we wrap, I really want to remind you of this crucial mindset shift. A high band score in IELTS and immense professional respect in the workplace comes from clarity and accuracy. It does not come from artificially stuffing in the most complicated dictionary terms you can find. Write the clearest and most appropriate English, not the most difficult. Remember, at the end of the day, communication is simply about getting the right message to the right person in the right way.
So, with this master key now firmly in your hands, I want to leave you with this question. Who will you write to next with total confidence? Don't let this theory just sit in your head and gather dust. I'm challenging you to execute these rules in a real email today. Upgrade your tone, use the 5-minute plan, and just watch your communication totally transform. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. You've got the tools. Now get out there and put them to work.